1.73.2594. They just announced the release of Kerbal Space Program 2 in 2020. Now, anyone who's excited about that, I would not be anticipating January. It's probably going to be more like the third quarter, maybe the fourth, pre-Christmas release. You know how they do it. Even if it's ready in February, they will hold that thing for 6-9 months for the best marketing time. Alright. Why did I do that? Alright, I'm not really sure why it's not cooperating. I don't know what I'm doing. I really hate that, how things become... Okay, now I just hit the 2 and the 2 didn't work. Now I hit the 2 and the 2 works. I really am so confused all the time when my same behaviors achieve different results. Sometimes I think my mind's just moving so fast. Like I'll type the word 2 and it comes out OT. And I don't, well, I type a little differently with like 5 fingers. Self-taught. Anyway. What a waste. Wow, that's kind of neat. Little star with a, wonder who that is. I really don't like to use political things. I'll do India though, because they just launched a moon probe. So that'll be in honor of them, although I don't really like politics and governments and the way they behave. The more you know, the less you like them, and the more you become aware, the more you realize they're necessary. So you don't like them, but they're necessary, and I think that can be changed as a society. Alright, I don't do missing crews respawn. I do allow other launch sites. Enable comm network. Oh, wait. I have to enable. Oh, there it was. Ground stations. Okay, level up immediately. G-force. Parts, G-force on parts. Always allow action groups. Enable extra ground stations. I have to add difficulty for balance. This is just, is it on or is it off? Anyway, I like that. That's a nice normal career difficulty level with just a few alterations, but this will be just like the normal career level in every way, except we're gonna have blackouts and the Kerbals level up immediately, and we have extra ground stations. So really there's nothing too fancy to do in the beginning. You just go to your station, you gather scientific data, we launch our first vessel. That's all we can do because we're only allowed 2. Now we're really limited on parts and money right now, so they just give us barely enough to go. If you want to read that stuff, you'll have to pause. Some of it's comedy. So you can see, because of my mods, I have these extra rockets here. Those are nice little small solid boosters, long for seems like Kerbal the stock game's missing a lot of little small parts and mid-level parts and different things. They can only do so much. They can probably only think of so much, so, or implement it in the game. A lot of the modders take care of the what we call the gaps or the missing pieces. We've noticed that they're taking mods and incorporating them into the game, not necessarily stealing them, but either employing the modders or buying their mod from them, or just reproducing one themselves that they like. But of course, once they incorporate it into the game, it's not a mod anymore. Now, I got way too much thrust and way too much fuel. So I turned that down, and then I'm going to set my parachute up for automatic. If you don't know what to do, the middle is a good place to start. This would be minimum pressure for automatic opening. That means when so your parachute won't open when you don't want it to. It has to be closer to the ground or in atmosphere. This high number means thicker air or closer to the ground. Anyway, that's really all you can do. The biggest Kerbal faux pas, or the first Kerbal faux pas of everyone, is to probably forget to do their staging. And so we're going to do our mystery goo. I don't know why they have, I don't know if this is a mod or stock, but this is really nice. This is an inline mystery goo container. See that? It might fit really nice on one of those rockets. I bet I could launch my first vessel without a Kerbal, but what fun would that be? And then I'm going to take 2 of these. Now, so I have 3 mystery goos and a Kerbal, and there's not much else I can do because I have no parts. So I just saw my staging didn't look right as I left. I'm not sure why. So I'll check it again here. Yeah, see, something happened. I pulled a part off and put a part on. So it's real easy. Just fix it right there. You're good. So looky here. We can do a mystery goo. Now I have a mod that I just push the button, but if you want to do it the long way, you can still do it this way. Or you can just reach up and push that button. Now this is a nice mod. This is science here and now. This tells you which science experiments are available right where you're at right here and now. I'm actually going to save the crew report for my landing because I can only do one because I do not have an antenna to transmit crew reports yet. But at this stage in the game, I'm just trying to pick up just a speck, but still get as much as possible. So EVA is extra vehicular activity, or outside. And we do that, and then we board. Now the purpose of this video is just for me to practice making videos. It's also, I'm trying to introduce some terminology to any 7 to 10-year-olds that would be watching. So if you hear a word you've never heard before, think about it. I don't know if you want to write it down. I don't even know if you can write. If you're 7, you can't write. I mean, you can a little bit. You naming some words, but if you don't know the word, how are you going to write it? You're like, what? Okay, so anyway, we have crazy different things. Like we have bored and bored. Like I'm so bored. I wish I had more excitement in my life. Or look, there's a wooden board. Or we should board the ship. Or in this case, board the craft. So we have the word board. It's board. It has 3 different meanings. So this is what you need to call the context of the sentence. It means, what are you talking about? You should know. You just can't say the word and know. As far as spelling goes, they're all spelled different. And there's a name for that, but I'm not going to tell you now. I might cheat a little bit. So I'll teach you some words about, we have words about language. Now, while we're talking about language, we have language about space flight. We have language about math. We have language about language, and those words, they're spelled the same. Some words are different, but have the same meaning. And we get that because we have the Roman alpha and the Greek Cyrillic. It's 2 cultures. The Romans and the Greeks fought. The Romans and the Greeks, Rome and Greece, fought each other a long time ago. Thousands of years, and what happened is our culture developed. What we call Western culture. There's Eastern culture, that's the Asian people, and then there's like an African culture, and I don't know what to call it, so I just named it. I just made up the name right now. Don't stick to that name. There could be an official name for it. But basically, we have Western culture, Asian culture, and the culture from the continent of Africa. Now, I'm not going to leave out my South American Latina brothers. They just let's just add them in the mix. Never mind all that. So, anyway, what I'm talking about is Western culture, Romans, Greece, Greeks, and so basically, in terms of language, and that's what we're talking about, English language, we have 2 words for everything, and we don't change foreign words, and we create new words. Like we create technology, we need to create terms, and sometimes our young people just aren't happy with the words we have, so they changed. Like we have this word now, I hate it. It's called algorithm. It's been around for a long time. I'm old. We say algebraic formula. When I went to algebra class, we didn't have an algorithm. If we did, they didn't teach it. That's more something that came along because some computer guy said, I want to use algebra in a computer, an algebraic formula in a computer, and it's a rhythm, so I'm going to call it an algorithm, and then somehow everything's an algorithm. Now, I don't know if it's an algorithm when I sit down and make a party list and I've got 20 people coming and half of them eat shrimp, fourth of them won't eat, 30% drink alcohol, and 3 are children, and I need to supply or underage, and I need to supply soft beverages, and people who don't like sugar might need a tea, and you better just have bottled water for 3. So, I mean, my God, that's complicated. If you wanted to make a formula, you could. If you didn't put it in a computer and just did it on paper or in your head, because I can do that. 20 people are coming, I need 10 this, 5 this, 3 this. You know, it's easy. If it's 10 for easy math. So, I'm not sure if you do it on paper if it doesn't revert back to an algebraic formula. You may have to be in a computer to be an algorithm. Of course, I don't know. We're just talking about language about math and language about language. Words that sound the same but have different meanings and contextual perspective. It's just wild. So the purpose of this for children, if any children are watching, would be to help teach you some terminology. If you're older and already know these terms, then I wouldn't know why you'd be watching. Maybe I'm dead and you're a relative and you're curious. Anyway, maybe you're stuck in this game or you want to maximize your career. So that's really what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get 3 upgrade buildings, upgrade 3 buildings, and progress as quick as Kerbally possible. Now, Kerbally, that's a word I just made up because this little guy right over here, he's a Kerbal. This planet he's on, his planetary body is called Kerbal. So I'm going to use words like Kerbalism, and I won't say geocentric orbit. I might say Kerbocentric orbit, or which the only planet that geocentric orbit applies to is the planet Earth, by the way. So maybe we should just say planetary centric or planicentric orbit. I'm talking about the future. Maybe we should just launch this craft. We've already done the first stage of science, so now I'm going to launch. I do have some pilot stability control here. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. You can hit the T button on your keyboard. And what I'm going to do is try to shoot this thing. Remember, I removed half the gas and half the thrust. I'm going to try to land in this little Kerbal area over here, the Kerbal Space Center. Anyway, they put Kerbal in. This used to, when it was, alpha, we didn't have this little guy over here. He wasn't there. And then we actually only had males in the beginning, but then they introduced females as we went into beta. But in alpha, we didn't have him. But it's not really a game. It's called a edutainment simulation programming. And what you do is you have incidental learning, which means if you just do this stuff, you can't help but learning. It just kind of happens, like organically or through osmosis, meaning it just happens. Bam. Kerbal 2 likes to call it accidental learning, but my only accident in this game was when I bought the game the first time on sale, not knowing anything what it was other than the silly little comedic videos that they have on the main account page. And I'm like, what? No. 97% all games are garbage. So I am hyper reluctant. See that new modern word that young people like? My old word is super reluctant. And before that was my generation, you would say very reluctant. But now we can say hyper reluctant. People know what you're talking about. If you said that in 1965, they would look at you like you were an idiot. Or, just fell off the frickin' space program from Huntsville, Alabama. I don't know if it existed. Did it exist in 65 yet? Yes, surely it did. Anyway, yeah, absolutely did. I'm sure of it. Alright, so we launch, and we're going to go, and then just about before we run out of gas, we're just going to tip it a little, and then we're going to straighten it out. Okay? And that's about all there is to it. Now everything else is physics. You can steer it as you come back down. If I would have put fins on it, you could steer it a little better. But how you do that is you just kind of point in the right direction, right? Because this is ballistics, you're a tube. Ballistics is what we use to fly bullets and things and rockets. And if you're flying through the air, the physics descriptions are sometimes referred to as ballistics. Now you can't wait too long. Let's go ahead and pop our chute. And of course, my ultimate goal is to land on top of the vehicle assembly building, because each of these items here we call biomes, and here at Kerbal Space Center we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 biomes. We also have the whole skirted area. We have grasslands, highlands, mountains, water, deserts. We have many places that we can go. And why do we want to go there? To collect science. Speaking of science, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and get a mystery goo observation. I can't actually do an EVA report while I'm floating down on my parachute, which would be climb out and hang on the spacecraft, because we haven't researched the technology necessary to do so yet. And we're going to address that really quick. So it looks like I've missed the top of the vehicle assembly building, which that is a biome all by itself. So let me add the 10th biome right here on top. See the landing pads? So there's actually, for the VAB, there's 2 biomes. Then we have the crawler way, the landing pad, control center, air, plane, space, plane, hangar, the research facility, communications, and radar, administrative, and this is our building right here, because we are Kerbals too, just like this little guy here. Now, did I tell you that we can't actually feel the shaking, shuddering, and fear that they experience because we're not inside the rocket, we're in the comfort of our own home. Maybe our home, or someplace else. But anyway, we're probably sitting in front of a computer screen in a nice chair. So we can look at his face and see how it's content. He will tell us how we should feel sometimes. Like if the rocket's coming apart, he will look afraid. Now, there's a couple different kinds of Kerbals. Ones are timid, and ones kind of enjoy the intensity. He enjoys the intensity, so sometimes he's smiling real hard if the rocket's on the edge of blowing up. And when Jebediah, who is termed, and I'm not making this up, this is his official term, a badass, and if you're a kid, you can't say this in front of any adults. Actually, just erase that from your vocabulary. Don't say it at all. They just made it because it means he's really strong, he's really tough, he can handle it, he's really brave. He's like that person that's like really smart, can control their emotions, and is mature at the same time. you know, the triple. They make those guys pilots and surgeons and things like that. If you can't control your emotions, you're not going to make it very far in life. If you can't control, well, you got to have an intellect, or you're not going to make it very far in the academia scientific world. Of course, you can be smart and make it, or you can be studious or a good student and make it, or if you have both, you know, the combination of the two, then you're a little bit above everyone else. And what's the other one? A social quotient. We talk about emotional quotient, intelligent quotient, and there's also a social quotient. And that's how people perceive you and how you talk to them, and if you're age appropriate. Like if you're 12, do you act like a 12-year-old? If you're 30, do you act like a 30-year-old? You know, have you matured? There's a thing called arrested development when people get in a lot of trouble in their life and have big problems. And something, their mind, it's the brain, just is too busy with something. So usually where it suffers is the social quotient. And quotient just means something we can measure, put on paper and measure, a theoretical idea. A quote. Or let's put the number down. It's official. Anyway, so we call it a quotient. We have a quote in English language. Means exactly what I said. Did you quote him? Yes, it's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Did you see my quotation marks? They're the two little dots. They're right. Two this way from the L. Looks like you got a colon and a semicolon, and then you got a quote and a, what's that little one that's a single? A hyphen? Is that called a hyphen? I know I call it an apostrophe in the case where I put it before an S, but I know sometimes I just use it over a single word instead of the quotation marks, and I don't know what it's called then. Maybe I'm grammatically incorrect in using it wrong. And you know, as you study foreigners who study English language, you'll see that they have a lot of trouble with punctuation and where to use their grammar. They may not have grammar in their language, or it's a different type of grammar, or grammar is just learned. It's the only way. It doesn't come natural. It has to be taught. And so the letters do too. Speaking, you learn osmotically or organically. Anyway, we have a little more science to perform, so we're going to do a crew report, do a mystery goo observation, and then we're going to crawl out and do an EVA report. Alright, so at the end of this mission, I've done 3 EVAs, 1 crew at 2 biomes, and we're going to recover the vessel, and they're going to show us what we've got right here. I'm trying to keep this video under 30 minutes, but I'm talking too much. I'm teaching about other things other than Kerbal. So if you hate me and you're an adult and I'm annoying, that's fine. If you're a kid, I can try to be funny. I can try to be interesting. I can try to be funny. I can try to be like a serious broadcaster with a broadcasting voice and put up little videos, little marquees, and make these little videos and flash around. But I do real cut, raw take right from the beginning. Bam, bam. It's just me. This is raw. It's what you call raw when you're not edited and you just and this is really necessary if you do magic tricks or sometimes a quick paper folding demonstration. Sometimes the videos are a little too much, or they condense the information and you lose that human touch, like you're the observer. Hopefully with you got me here on the screen, and I made videos without me, but man, it's like now maybe people look at me and know me and they say, hey, it's that guy that I understand. Not the Shadow Zone, or the Matt Brown who does too much, or Scott Manley who flies these airplanes like you can't. That guy has spent some time on a flight simulator. He's really smart. And I think he's an astrophysicist or an orbital mechanic or something. He's got a degree in something, but he has a day job too. I think programmer, IT guy. Real smart guy, stuck in the IT world. Nothing wrong with the IT world. It's just, it's kind of it's like a data way. It's the highway for data. Be like driving a steamroller. Anyway, most people that are watching Kerbal, especially young people, want to build spacecraft, not maintain an IT network. And I guess if your stuff's not broken and it's running, that's good. You can probably sit in your office and play Kerbal. Shh. Don't ever steal your time from your boss. There's always something you can do. If it's nothing more than clean your office or organize your own personal affairs, as it helps you do your job more effectively. If you can also help others without annoying them do their job more effectively, that's always a good thing. And there's always a thing called dusting off your equipment. And I will promise you, if you are a young person, a young level person, you think things don't really matter, it never hurts to let your boss catch you dusting your furniture, especially if it's not your job. He'll say, "What are you doing?" You'll say, "Well, I had a minute between tasks, so I just grabbed this dust rag and was making my environment a little better for me and everyone else." Man, that's the right thing to say. So, sometimes it's a little hooey. Hooey! That means not a lot. I'm not going to teach you hooey. It means not 100% true. Anyway, so look, we've got 33 science points here. And we've got some fun. So we got money and science for doing that thing. And our crew gained 1 experience point. So that's the whole thing. Gain experience for the crew. Earn money so we can build spacecraft. And earn experience